Good evening everyone, welcome to Old School Drama. Today we have got a cracking discussion for you guys. I'm going to be weighing up the benefits of the new PvP armor, which is coming in the Revenant Caves potentially, and keeps getting polled, denied, and so on. We're going to be looking at what the streamer and content creators have to say, what the J-mods have to say, and also what the community is saying about it all. We have people on one side of the argument, the PvPers, begging and praying that this armor gets introduced, as I feel PvP is becoming a bit stale. This is the day-to-day PK, and by the way, they aren't complaining about dead man or anything like that, which was a great addition to the game. And the armor in question can only be used for 1 hour wielded. After that it's gone, and they have to source themselves a new set. This can be from the Revenant Caves, or I believe they're going to be able to purchase it as well. It's all in the air really as to whether it's going to be tradable or untradeable. And I suppose that's a few of the reasons why it's putting off some people in voting yes for it. But quite a lot of the opinion is that if you do not PK yourself, you shouldn't vote for what they get to have in their gameplay, if that makes sense. So people like myself, I don't PK. I'm a PVMer. And I do skilling, so I myself have actually stayed out of the vote so that I didn't kind of interfere with what changes are going to be made to their game. Because I suppose you can look at it as two different games. There's PK inside of it, and then, you know, there's just not PKing. You know, you can PVM, you can go along, you can get through your day doing whatever you want and just kind of build your account up that way. But people create certain accounts and they want certain activities to be available to them when they are playing. So the idea of this armor being introduced to the game, I don't know how many PvPers have voted no against it, but in all honesty, when you look at the content creators and you look at the comments on their tweets and things like that, the majority of PKers are saying, why isn't this getting passed? And then you look at some of the posts, you know, coming from the mods, and people are saying that the J mods are trying to force this upon people. How they're doing it is they want to find something that works for everyone. So the fact that it's literally just short of the majority vote that you need to get passed. So I think it finished on about 65%. They want to find something that suits everyone. They don't want it to interfere with the PVMers day to day. But what you have to think about if you are a PVMer is that how often are you caught in the wilderness? How often when you're doing your clue scrolls do you get PK'd by a rusher? And really, are you losing that much? And isn't it just a risk of the game that you play? I mean, if you've all played a bit of Deadman mode, then you risk it. If you're playing Deadman mode and you're camping inside the safe spots, fair play, but you're not going to get very far. If you do want to be a completionist, at some point you're going to have to go into the wilderness and you're going to have to deal with those threats. And this is something that, on very rare occasions, you're going to come up against someone that's going to rush you wearing this armor, this new PvP armor that's potentially being brought into the game. And how I look at it is, how many PKers are going to waste the hour that they have wearing this armor before it goes untradeable, rushing you? Probably someone like Torvesta when he's making a video, fair play, yeah, he'll do that one-off. But is he going to constantly do it and waste that armors over time? I don't see it happening. Because of the investment, they're going to want high-risk rewards. Off the back of it, they're not going to go after someone that's potentially, you know, running out into the wilderness with a whip and dragon hide, potentially 4 monkfish and a clue scroll with a clue box. Because how often are they going to catch someone with a clue casket in the wilderness that they've opened? I don't see it happening. You know, at the moment I've got Mod Iaza's tweet, you know, and as a community manager, you know, he's saying it's upsetting to see such clear rifts between our sub-communities. And I think he is right at the moment. It's causing a big rift. It's nowhere near to the EOC, but I think it can get onto that, where people enjoyed it and people don't. And I think that's quite one of the reasons why people are voting against it as well. And I can see why they are voting against it, because this came before EOC. They're concerned that, is it going to happen again? You know, are we just going to make old school into what it was just before EOC? And are we moving in that direction? And I'd just like to clarify, that can't happen, because this is old school. They're never going to make it into RuneScape 3. I can guarantee you that. So if that is a concern, I wouldn't be concerned about it if I were you. Another thing that I'd like to raise is that in the latest dev blog that was posted, you have to look, if you're thinking that it's going to create a massive cash injection into the game and the market's going to go completely skew with in terms of people that are selling potential PvP armor on the GE, you're wrong. When someone wields the armor and they die to another PvPer, they just kind of get the coin drop for the value of the armor, but it's not the full value of the armor. It's 80% of the fee that was paid to wield the armor goes to the person who's won the kill. So essentially it's only going to be money that's traded between PvPers, and because the armor is pretty much going to be untradeable, then pretty guaranteed that it's going to be untradeable, you don't have to worry. People don't have to worry about that. Yes, there are other things coming into the game as well. Looking at, the Sinister Scroll, the Ancient Crystals. The Ancient Crystals I actually think would be really cool to be able to create the Wilderness Obelisk in your house. And then obviously once you get to a certain level in terms of the Wilderness Diaries, you can choose to where you go in the Wilderness, which Wilderness Obelisk that you go to. I think that's an awesome idea. I think they need to be careful in terms of clanman mode. On this case, you could have your team camped by a house with someone who has a Wilderness Obelisk, and then they wouldn't even run out of nowhere. They'd all just be able to teleport to that section, unless actually in terms of in QA and testing, that people that haven't completed the Elite Wilderness Diaries can't use other people's obelisks to teleport into the wilderness. So that I suppose would resolve that. The next thing to go on to is a minus XP lamp, which people seem to be loving the idea of, and it's all for people that have a pure and they've maybe accidentally slipped onto the fence and then they've gone up a level, which I suppose can be annoying, and there's a fee that's to be paid for that, and it's going to be, to activate it would be 5 mil. So again, there's going to be another cash sink there, and I suppose that is a good thing for the community as well, and the economy within the game, that there will be another cash sink there. So to conclude, my opinion is that the PKers want this change to happen, and that if you aren't a PKer, I'm afraid to say, hate me all you like, but if you aren't a PKer and you're voting no against it, you really should kind of stay out of their way, because if all the PKers started voting against the updates that we want in things like Slayer, new bosses, updates to the drop tables, we're looking at the raids too, then we would be angry as well, because they'll be interfering in what we enjoy, whereas they focus on the PKing. So I think we have to be careful, and think that we have to respect everyone else's opinions on what they like. And I think maybe something could be introduced where in order to get a vote you have to have a certain amount of kills or something like that in the PKing world, or a certain level within the bounty hunter world, and I think that might resolve it. So I don't know what you guys think to that, but I'll leave it to you. Drop comments what you'd like me to discuss in the next video. Just let me know what you thought of the first old school drama, and again, I'll see you next time for some more updates in the old school world. See ya.